Come together making millions. Get the motor ready for the bike night race. Brag about my bike and put some dollars in your face.
Okay, and you were listening to the live diss track over there on motorcyclemadhouse.com. Hopefully you guys and gals are listening to us overseas. As usual, shout out to South Korea, baby. Got the barracks on there as always. Today we got some B-Cam. We got a new person on the show. His name is Chino, and he's actually a United States Marine, and I bet he gets a lot of pussy. I shouldn't say that. I'm on the wrong show here. I'm not
actually. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. We can roll because we are in the morning section right now. We're not in the evening time. You know what I mean? So I guess we can get away with it a little bit.
Come on, Hollywood. You got to see if he can hold his own against
yes,
you.
We gotta,
it's true. It's true. We got to test this.
So Chino,
how's it going, everybody? I'm Chino B. Nice to meet all of you.
You get a lot of pussy in the Marines, man.
Yes, I have.
I like the honesty. I mean, I like the M16 in the background over there, just chilling,
rock and roll,
hanging
man.
Right there.
Hey, my other question for you, Chino: do you get a lot of men like the Navy does?
What do you mean? Hey, the Marine Corps is like the Navy, only it's the men's department.
There you go. There you go. Okay, now it's gonna get a little wild.
My older brother was a Marine in the 1980s, man. He's still fucked up with you guys got some weird thinking over there and shit like that. But I remember a thing, he got a picture because he was on what was called the Westpac. And he went to South Korea, Australia and stuff. And when they crossed the timeline and shit, the Navy made all the Marines dress up in women's wigs and shit like that. You guys are weird, man. You guys are weird. But anyway, I got
all I have to say in defense of all those Marines is it takes a real man to be comfortable with the sexuality to do that thing.
Ooh. So you admit you do get a lot of men like the Navy.
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna push the button one more time, guys.
Anyway, thanks for your service, Chino. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and all that good stuff.
All right. Well, I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps. I went to Afghanistan. I got blown up out there, but luckily I'm still here. I also spent, I got my first bike 2012. It was a Street Bob. Ever since then, I've just been on different motorcycle clubs and different groups. I even joined a militia at one point just to see what it was like. And
fucking hey, dude, that is awesome.
This dude is insane, dude. It's awesome.
You said you got blown up. You got both your legs still, right?
Yes.
There's only room for one peg leg on this show.
Hey, man, he can have that. He takes all that right now.
So you have all three of your legs still.
Yeah, no, I have 2.5. So
not to make fun of this, and I got a little dark humor. You'll get to know me. When you had that explosion, was the first thing you looked down at is if you had your balls still, like in the movies?
Actually, when it happened, I was really hungry and running off of like 3 days or 2 hours of sleep for 3 days. We were going from Camp Delaram back to Camp Leatherneck, and the army had gotten blown up the night before. So me and the driver were just talking shit, saying, "Hey, it wouldn't be a good story to have just to get blown up, right? Bunch of dumb kids." Then all of a sudden, the back of our trailer starts shaking and rocking, and sand cloud all around us. So we're hungry and tired and annoyed. We're like, "Man, let's get out." Like, we don't even do our checks like we're supposed to. We just jump out, we pee, and we start looking around, and the driver's or the passenger side tire all the way in the rear of the 870 trailer was ripped up with shrapnel all over the place. So we call it in, and then they get a 7-ton, which is like a semi, to come by. It's like a tow truck to try to pick us up. but it sank in the sand picking us up. So we had to get another tow truck to pick up the tow truck to pick us up. So it was like a human centipede of trucks.
Yeah,
Right.
Jesus.
Our best service out there are United States Marines, baby. They won the Pacific War. They won a lot of wars for this country. They are the best service out there, in my opinion. But we thank all that serve, but especially our Marines, man. They're a special breed. We're going to be talking about the decay of American society today, and it's a very good topic. And I'm told that Chino really knows this topic really good. We'll get some of the woman's views from China Doll, and also from the mentally retarded section, we got Mike Ball.
There we go. I'm here, guys. I'm here.
Hey, I'm the crayonator here, so
Just give Chino a box of 64 with a sharpener and he's happy.
There you go.
He's overly happy with a big box like that.
overjoyed.
So, Chino, what do you think the number one problem is that's leading to the decay of American society?
Societal's view on freedom. So if you look at anything political, anything that has to do with picking a side, any argument, if you could just break it down to, is this freedom or is this oppression? And if it's not freedom, then maybe it's something bad. And what we have in America is a lot of people choosing oppression and thinking that's freedom.
Now, as a United States Marine and fighting overseas, how do you feel where this country's going for what you fought for?
I mean, I came back from Afghanistan, and now everyone, I could make 3 or 6 figures, and I'm still struggling for a mortgage and everything here in California. Cost of living is skyrocketed, and the anti-homeless laws are scaring a lot of people. I know a few people that lost their homes and started living under a bridge, and they've told me some really horrible stories about how the police treat them.
Now, you're talking about you live in California.
Yeah.
How do you think them policies are really contributing to the downfall of California? Because they, you have to admit, they pass a lot of Marxist and communist views.
Well, what do you call communist, and what is bad about it?
Well, communist as far as
that's bad, but
communist as far as suppressing speech, making it to where they just had a study this past July where only 60% of Americans were actually proud to be an American.
That's so
and
sad.
A lot of them policies you're seeing coming out of the administrations, and it's not only California, it's New York, Illinois, type of deal. But like you said, you're not able to speak what you really feel because of the retribution you might get.
Yes, but why is that?
That's the question.
Well, we have all these hate crimes that lead to mass shootings, and mass shootings is one of the biggest things that's in this country that people are afraid of now. So with governments trying to ban speech, and I'm not saying it's right, it's their really sorry attempt to try to curb that decline or curb that issue.
Right. What do you think, Mike?
It's a hard one. This freedom of speech thing, I'm surprised by the statistic that you even just gave with the 60% of people are proud to be an American, that are American citizens. That's really sad. You know what I mean? As a country, we have so many people that have died for this country and for what they believe is right for us and protect us. But yet only 60% of people actually are proud to be here. Like, this is the biggest land of opportunity here. And yet it's like, have you guys ever been to a third world country? Have you guys ever gone and I know you have, sir, but I'm talking about most of these people that talk like this. You know what I mean? Have they ever gone to a third world country and actually seen what it's like to not even have freaking running water? You know what I mean? It's kind of sad because I've seen it where they've got water above the roof and they're recycling water through a big tub of like, you know what I mean? Like a canister full of water. That's sad. And we're complaining about the smallest things here in America. It's sad.
Mhm.
I mean, arguably, there's lots of places here in America that don't have running water. Look at Flint, Michigan.
Well,
Yeah.
How long has that happened?
Yep, that's actually
And
very true.
People don't really even talk about that anymore.
You're very right. Damn straight.
Look at East Palestine, Ohio. Look at what's going on in Pennsylvania right now. Like,
I think there's a
look at
lot of
what's
things
going
that
on with the Navajo Nation.
there's a lot of things people take for granted. Not there's a lot of people out there that don't have the simple things of the roof over their head or the running water or the daily ability to eat food.
Mhm.
Not just in other countries, but here in the US.
Well, look at the healthcare system.
Well, the healthcare system in the US is just shit to begin with, and I feel for those, especially military, when they come back, they get shit on as far as healthcare. But
Yeah.
there's like so many things that people take for granted. It's like and like Mike said, we're making mountains out of molehills. Like the littlest, stupidest shit we're making big deals out of.
When people don't have that, like the homeless.
People don't have what others do have.
Mm-hmm.
But then
And it's sad.
we have really bad healthcare, but then we have people saying that they don't want to pay for other people, like the homeless, to have healthcare because that's just communism, and communism is bad. But what we have is a capitalist system of healthcare where doctors don't care about the well-being of the patients; they just care about profit, and that's why big pharma, you have to pay what 300 or 3,000 times the amount
Right.
of for penicillin here in America than you do in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing that I don't understand is we pay so much in taxes. Instead of that, sending that shit overseas, there should be a program in place, kind of like a lot of European countries do, where that tax money actually goes into the healthcare system, where it's actually every person has the chance to have healthcare. And I believe instead of supporting others, that we should be supporting our people as far as the healthcare system.
Actually, a significant amount of our taxes do go towards healthcare. It's just we have privatized healthcare, so our taxes go straight to corporations instead of actual healthcare.
To actually people who need it.
Yep, it's lining people's pockets, correct? Such as the public, the person that owns the hospital or public system or whatever, they're the ones pocketing it, and then giving 5% of that money to the actual necessities of the hospital or whatever ordeal. Like, that's crazy to me.
It is. Now, John Labia, that's over at Serious and Silliness. He's one of my guys out there. I really love him and his interviews and stuff like that. I would like to hear, we'll start with China and work our way up and around.
Why you gotta start with me?
Because you're a woman.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
And I
We're
want to see.
talking about feminizing men.
Yes, feminizing the men so they don't pose a threat, and convincing women that they don't need a man, and the men feel hopeless. Go ahead with that.
God, throwing woman under the bus here.
Basically, what that means is you women want the guy's nuts in your purse.
Any woman that wants a man's nuts in their purse is freaking lunatic. I'm sorry, but a man needs to be a man. I don't want nobody's balls in my purse. It takes up too much space. I'm sorry. No.
If they're blessed.
Well, yeah. Hollywood, I don't know. The marbles might fit, but I'm just saying.
It happens.
But seriously, no. Men need to be men. Men need to be the ones in charge. Yes, I said it. Oh my God.
I know it was
Uh-oh,
hard
you
for
might
you to
get canceled.
admit. I know it was hard for you to admit this. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
it was.
China.
My God. Oh God,
I
that
know,
took a lot out of
especially with me being on the panel.
Oh,
But
shucks.
no, I'm just joking. But the truth is that that's exactly what I've been talking about leading up to this is China doll, respectfully, you're in a different
I'm in a
time
different
zone
category.
right now. You're in a different you totally are, because you're married, you're out of the game. And especially in my generation of people into the 30s, 40s, and stuff like that, are having extremely hard times with women nowadays. Like I've given the statistic before, there is like out of from 18 to 30, there are 33%, and it's climbing right now. 33% of those people are virgins or haven't had sex in over a year, which is insane to me. That's an insane, that's a sad statistic, because you got all these women fighting for the same fucking people. It's unfortunate.
That
No
is
wonder depression
unfortunate.
is so high in America.
Yeah, because nobody's getting laid.
Damn, the wind blows and my dick gets hard.
Yeah,
I'll
I can
stick it.
vouch for that.
I'll stick it in a fence, man. What the hell's wrong with these
Well,
kids?
your favorite
Right.
thing is top. You love getting top, so that's your thing.
What do you think?
Well, you're on top right now, Mikey. What the hell?
Here, let me. Here, how about that?
I don't want to be on top.
Gotta love a woman on top.
What do you think, Chino, about that? What do you think about that? You think men are becoming too emotional, don't know how to take care of a family unit? Come on. The worst thing
actually,
to
I don't
me
think
is the worst thing is a man that sits on a couch while the women goes works. I hate that.
Okay, so I think it's actually a bigger issue than that. There's an agenda at play. So if we look at the media and what the government is trying to push, we have over sexualizing of children within the media. We have this hustle culture that forces parents to work multiple jobs just to survive and put food on the table. So the parents are never home to watch what the kids are doing. We have all these things that's in schools, that's especially in California and even in Florida, where the government can ask your kid if they are participating in identity politics and if they want to escape their parents, or if their parents do not agree with the identity politics, then they can be taken into foster care without the parents' consent. There's all these things to attack the nuclear family. The media is pushing really hard on feminism. So it's not even feminism anymore. It's misandry to get women to hate men. And then we get men to hear all this incel stuff about how all the statistics about dating to make men angry at women. So now it's all just divide and
conquer,
keeping people angry and distracted. So they're continuing this slave mentality of going to work and making rich people money.
Well, I think that's very true, and I think it does start. I think it does start with our political system. Like 2024 is coming up, and the only choice we have is a senile old man and a freaking arrogant prick. And nobody's even. What's up?
All I'm saying is I voted for Joe Jorgensen.
Actually, you know what?
That plays hockey and drinks whiskey, and
there you go.
wanted to dismantle the ATF and drug laws.
There you go. But the one problem that I have with it is people are so much of a sheeple. There is other people out there running, and I'm gonna, you know what? I'll admit it right here. I'm an RFK Jr., Robert Kennedy Jr. Backer. I really like him. I think he's an old time Democrat, like I remember, and I think he's just being down the middle, trying to bring this country together. And the media is treating him like shit because he's not their pick. Do you think politics are playing a lot of role in the division in this country, China?
Dude, this country's based on politics, and it's stupid. I can't stand it. I mean, who wants Pamperhead in there again? I don't. He's fucked this shit up.
I gotta say something. When it comes
Dude
down
needs
to
to go
this,
needs to get it changed. I don't know.
it's about everything. If you look at everything right now, everything is a divide tactic. Everything, men versus women. You got, politics. You've got this extreme left, extreme right, blue pill, red pill, this, that, and the other. And everyone is getting so damn extreme. And like what you just said, Hollywood, when you go, he's an old school Democrat. I know what that means. Nowadays, that would be basically considered a normal Republican. You know what I mean? Which is crazy, that there's this over radicalized on both sides. Nobody knows how to just sit there and think for their actual selves. It just got to go so radical in every direction.
And we need to, where we need to get as a country, and this is really leading to the decay of America, is like you said, we just can't sit down and agree to disagree, but because there's a lot of positions I like on the left. A lot of positions. See, everybody don't understand. I used to be a blue dog Democrat.
You were.
And yeah, I was a blue dog Democrat. And the Democratic Party has moved so far left, like Mike said, that it's getting toxic. It's not the middle of the road Democrats that are coming up and saying, hey, let a trans dude talk to your kids about it's not them doing it. It's the far left. Yes. But then you got the far right that, and I'm a Second Amendment guy, 100%. But I actually believe in the Illinois void system where you got to get a freaking background check because I don't want no psycho shooting me. You know what I mean?
All I know is that there are more firearms in this country than there are people, which is nutty. That's a weird statistic that I found out. There are more firearms in this country than there are people.
But a basic background check would, come on, at the minimum. What do you think?
I mean, that's what I think we're all there already. I mean, I have like that loophole thing or whatever. At least here in California, there is no like gun show loophole. There is no there automatically is a background check. I know there's a few states out there that don't necessarily need those background checks or they don't do it or whatever. But the truth is most places do these background checks.
What do you think, Chino?
So I wanted to touch on that whole we're letting trannies or transvestites talk to children and stuff, and how the far right or all the right-wing people and conservatives are very scared and up in arms about that. Well, you know what the left wing and all of them are scared about the right wing? It's churches. So since 1998, the Southern Baptist Church has had over 400 convicted leaders, not just members, but leaders convicted of sex crimes, with over 700 victims like that has come on record. And that's only the ones that have come on record. And that's just one denomination of the churches in this country that's gotten in trouble.
Not to mention Catholic priests. That's the reason I left Catholicism, because of the priest and the molesting.
And the thing is, all of society knows this, yet all of society protects the churches.
Yep.
But here's a question for you. Do you think that, kids should lose their innocence at a third grade level learning about this kind of sexual stuff?
How many children in my generation has lost their innocence at Catholic school or Sunday school to their priest or pastor?
Well, yeah, that we understand.
America just doesn't talk about it.
I'm talking about the ideology of exposing these kids to a sexual type of deal that early. As if you look at some of these gay pride parades, you're looking at dudes performing all kinds of sex acts, and kids are right there.
Right there. You can see them.
And I think that that's absolutely horrible. Like, children should keep their innocence, and the parents should be protecting the children. Unfortunately, we have too many people that have been traumatized by the generation before us, where we were sexually exploited and just kind of swept under the rug. You know what I
So
mean?
I agree.
Look at
Sexual
everything that happened with
acts were-
Epstein.
Yeah, and you know what? They celebrated him. What do you think, China, about the over sexualization of our kids now?
The kids know more than we ever knew at their age. Third graders know more about sex than the average high schooler, and it should never be that way. I don't know how many times I've said that, yeah, have basic sex ed in school, but they're going way too far, and at way too young of an age. These kids don't need to know everything that they're being taught in school as far as sex. They do not need to be like with this crap that we had here in town. You know, with the transgender, drag queen going and doing a Q&A. Well, they had to go as far as making that virtual because of the fact that they don't want it in the library.
Now, Mike, I'm a big believer in separation of government and religion.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that say this country was based on Christianity, which is false. It was actually a lot of masonry stuff. But he was, Chino was talking about the religious right. And if you've ever heard it on my show, I've always said, you know what? They're hypocrites to me, some of them. Because I'd walk in a church and I get looked at funny because all the tattoos and stuff and the way I talk.
Mhm.
But do you believe that a lot of the problems that we're having on both sides, if it's one extreme or the other, is government? No, they're not following the Constitution as far as separation of church and state.
Absolutely. The separation of church and state. I mean, there's a whole reason why that's even a freaking thing. And to even talk on this, I like what Kraut said here. He said sexualizing kids should be a shoot on sight deal. Let me say something. I'm to the point where, listen, as parents, we are the first line of defense to our children. Okay. And I am not going to allow some weirdo to over radicalize my child. I mean, this is why I pulled my child out of my 7-year-old. I pulled her out of public school this last year, and now she's going to her own charter school because I cannot stand the way that the ideology is and the way that they're so left. It's always left. There's never ever a conservative view ever in school anymore. It's gone. So in order to get away from that, you have to get away from the public teachings and go to a private, which is insanely sad for our children because we're the first line of defense.
What I think is happening, because I believe in gay rights, actually, China Doll's bi.
Right.
I think that this drag queen stuff and all that's actually hurting the gay rights cause.
Yes.
And because you won't even see somebody that's gay, lesbian, bi actually support what they're doing. And I think that hurts them. Am I down the road on that one?
You are. Well, I have to butt in on this just real quick, only because look at what just Montana, the governor of Montana just did. He just made it to where there is no more, it's where you're on a document for the state or whatever. You can't select, other genders. It's only male or female. There's no more other. There's no more any of this. So look at the point. You guys are actually hurting yourselves. Now you're going to have an overcompensation for this. And and so now it's only going to get worse. So you're very right, Hollywood. This is only going to hurt them. And it only has been hurting them. They already got their rights. I don't understand why it's got to go to this extreme, like where we're seeing these people go on the streets, throwing their, freaking thing around in front of children, you know what I mean? And getting whipped and all of that crap, some BDSM bullshit on the streets where our kids are fucking watching.
But at the same time, before I go to Chino on this question, Dirty Knobs, what rights don't they have as Americans? And I have to address that. What you see now is work that happened ever since Harvey Milk in actually California. It used to be where people were getting fired from their work because they were gay. Or in the 80s, the biggest discussion, remember, China Dow, was if you were gay, you were going to molest a kid. That was the biggest deal that was out there. And they basically had no rights because shit, even in Hollywood, in California, Rock Hudson couldn't even come out as gay or Liberace because of the way society was back then. Now it's totally different. It's totally different now. But go ahead, Chino.
Well, the thing about that is it wasn't that long ago when there was a gay nightclub that was shot up by an extremist, right? And there's actually more and more stories nowadays that we hear about, especially since it's so prominent in the media to scare people about the, LGBT community, that hate crimes against gays have gone up. And a lot of people don't care because, hey, they're gay. They chose that lifestyle, right? But why do they have to suffer from, I guess, the court of public opinion just for who they love if it's not bothering anybody? Now, I used to be really conservative about the whole transgender thing as well until a buddy of mine from the Navy decided to, well, when he got out, he transitioned.
Well, I was about to say, well, no wonder you came out of the Navy.
I'm not going to try to say anything like that.
Yeah,
throw jabs at the Navy or anything.
You're just going to be respectful.
I had a friend that saved my life, and now he is a she. So why does that make that person any different from the person that saved my life? Absolutely not. So I had to change my thinking a little bit. These people are people too, just because they want to change their identity to their sexuality, because
but their agenda, that's good for them.
The agenda is different from the people. The community, right. It's not the entire community that's going after kids. It's the media and it's the government that's going after the children.
Well, let's find the figure out the freaking money and look at where all the investments are coming from. You know what I mean? Let's really talk about it.
Yes.
All of the money that all of this is being supported by is being supported by and bought by BlackRock, who owns Vanguard. And this is their agenda.
Everyone wanted to talk about Harley Davidson and Bud Light for that gay agenda stuff, but they were forced to do it by BlackRock.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone talk about that? No, they just hate and ban the companies that are predominantly known for men activities.
Where do you think China Dow, where gay rights is now compared to where it was?
Well, I hate to say it, but there's gays in the military now. So,
and you see, that's something we forgot. There, it used to be don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell. Now they tell. And
they're open about it too.
And I actually have some Marines here that are gay.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because you know what? They want to serve their country just like their fellow man or woman do.
Fair enough.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. And if that's what they choose they want to do with their, do the military thing, do it. They ain't going to do it any different than anybody else. They're human.
Well, we can ask Cheeto.
Don't discriminate.
I think the biggest problem right now is people are not treating gays, lesbians, the whole alphabet. I'm not going to say the whole entire thing. They're not treating them as fucking human beings.
And that comes from a lot of the Christian right or the Jewish or the Muslim religion. Yes.
Religions in general, I would think.
I feel like it comes for society and people's projection on their oppression of sexual identity.
Mm-hmm.
So long have we been taught that gays are bad, right? Homophobia has been implemented in the media since we were little. Now that it's trying to change and be more accepting, there's so much of that homophobia that's just leaking out into everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
now I wonder if Mike, do a lot of people that are listening to us on the radio and later on Spotify and all that stuff, do they actually have a friend that is gay? And how are they reacting to them then? How do they sit down and have this kind of discussion? Because I know China Doll sat down with a couple gay people and they're furious of what's going on.
I'm sure that with like women talking to gays is a little different, respectfully. It's not like I'm sitting there with a guy chatting about his gay rights or what he's thinking about. I don't really have a lot of those people around me, and that not that there's anything wrong with them.
You know what? Let's stop there. You just said those people or them. So are you cutting them out as a different class of person?
Yes, I mean,
or are you just pointing at a community?
It was more pointing more out of a community standpoint. You know what I mean? Just them. You know, just respectfully. It was no jab at them or anything. It's just. So, anyways, get me back on what the actual question
No.
was.
Actually,
No. I want to know the actual question.
The actual
so
you're putting them as a different class of people.
No, I mean yes, but no. It's they're their own class, and just like trans, they're their own class. In my opinion, we have. I mean, there's a lot of mental problems that go in with that community as well, and with normal citizens I'm just talking about people that are straight. That's the normal. It's normal. You know what I mean?
What's normal?
Being normal is actually being
coming from the bi lady.
I know.
Normal.
Hey, Mike, you're stumbling all over yourself here, buddy.
It's okay. I'm just saying because I wanted to get back to what you were before that class.
Why does the LGBT community have to have its own? Why are they their own people? Why are they just not
why are bikers their own people? Why are the rich people their own community? Why are people who
because the media
dress up as animals their own community?
The media makes it that way.
Why can't we all?
Well, that's what I was saying in the beginning. Is look at BlackRock. That's what I can't say it enough. It's like everyone in here that it thinks I'm freaking crazy. It all stems from what I just said in the very beginning of all of this. It's all controlled by BlackRock. BlackRock invests in all of this. They own like almost every type of property on not just in America, but in the freaking world. You guys got to do a little research on who these people are. Follow the freaking money. This is their agenda.
Right now in France, they are currently rioting or revolting against BlackRock. They even stormed the BlackRock headquarters.
Yep.
They have buses that they're riding into, setting buses on fire, driving them into buildings right now. All because BlackRock has empowered the cops to shoot teenagers.
It's pretty bad that the French are leading the way and we're not out there rioting. I can tell you that.
So the topic of today was the degradation or
decay,
the downfall, the decay of American society. So I would like to get off of the whole LGBT and go into other stuff. Like, since we got into how the French are rioting against police brutality and how they're leading the way, America can't necessarily do that because our police system, if it was considered a military, it would be the third most, the third most highest revenue military, or the highest, paid military in the world. Only, the only ones exceeding the police budget in America would be the military budget in America and the military budget maybe in Russia, or I think China. The police force has a higher budget than a Russian military. So that's why you see like bomb vehicles like LCACs like MRAPs and stuff and tanks in the police force.
Yeah.
Why does LA need an up armored tank?
Well, it's very true that, and we were talking about the two-tier justice system in this country
Yep.
the other day, China Dow. And you already know me and cops don't get along. I see him as power hungry and not abiding by the Constitution of the United States. They should ignore orders that are against somebody's constitutional rights, if you ask me.
They're class
Mhm.
traders.
But what do you think, China Dow, of this privatization of prisons where they want more people to go to jail?
And who's
So
the
they can make
who's the
Why?
biggest investor in the privatized prisons?
That
probably
too.
Mikey, do you know?
BlackRock.
Mm-hmm.
It's BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street.
Well, BlackRock owns Vanguard, so ultimately BlackRock. But yeah, anyways.
What?
Sheesh.
What do you think about these corporations that actually want people to go to prison so they can make money on them?
Dude, it's our tax dollars that are paying for them to be there. No, I don't think that's right.
It ain't, because what are we, the third largest country or one of the top three that has the most incarceration of all the nations or some
I
shit
think we're
that?
like number one.
We're number one.
Yeah,
We
we're
have
number
the
one.
highest
We're number-
population per capita incarcerated in the entire world. Yet we're still considered the land of the free. How ironic, right?
Do you consider it the land of the free when you have a two-tier justice system where a guy, say, gets busted with some crack cocaine that, because they're in the 90s, the freaking tough on crime bill, they sent guys away for 10, 20 years for having crack.
Just
But
a
then,
little bit too.
yeah. And then,
Yeah.
Mike, you have a guy's son that, the president's son that gets away with all kinds of stuff, crack and all that. And he does no time where.
And no
a
question.
Yeah.
Recently, they just found a whole bunch of cocaine inside the Oval Office of the White House. Yet I have to worry about getting shot if I don't pay my registration on my motorcycle, which
Yep.
actually just happened not that long ago.
Mhm. So two-tier justice system right there. And, we talked about it the other day, China Doll, as well. There's no rich people on death row.
Oh, hell no, because they got out. Come on. We all know OJ did it. Give it up. He did it.
Mhm.
But I'm talking
We
about
all know.
there's nobody on death row that's rich.
No, and I mean, Illinois, man, we got some really great governors who all end up in jail, but they all get out.
Hmm. What do you think, Chino, about the death penalty? And
You ain't gonna
and this
see
is
no
all part of the
celebrity there.
decay of American society, because when you have two classes of people, the rich and the poor,
You're-
and there's such a wide range between the two, there becomes a lot of problems within society from that. And when you get a public defender on a murder case, you're
Yeah.
going in the chair.
Yeah, you're gone.
So I actually have a few stories I wanted to tell. So a lot of people don't know this, but they started this in California, up in Sacramento. The police would give homeless people an option because homeless is so rampant right now. The Bay Area and Northern California is the most expensive place in the country to live. They gave homeless people an ultimatum. Go to this homeless encampment that's ran by the state. You have to give up all your possessions and you have to participate in labor acts so you could stay there, right? Which sounds cool, right? But if you decide to turn that down, they give you fines. And if you're not able to pay the fines because you're homeless, they take you to jail, where they send you to these labor camps and you have to work for commissary. And what are these labor camps, and who owns these labor camps? BlackRock. And
So
you are
turning
giving
into
free
slaves.
labor for all these corporations. They are literally privatizing slavery, and they're just using the clause inside the amendments where slavery is abolished unless you're a criminal,
Yep.
right?
Well, you know what? We should do
Criminalizing
it.
homelessness and taking everybody, which also goes back to what I was saying earlier with the destruction of the nuclear family. Because another thing was they found out hundreds of children that was just lost in the system by CPS were found at like Ford Motors and Hyundai and meat packaging plants, and they were working overnight shifts, children as young as 12 years old. Now, we're looking at how the United States government is turning everyday citizens into slavery through breaking up the nuclear family or forcing people to work as slaves, or when they can't work anymore and they lose their house, they have to get sent to prison where they do free labor. And there's even a thing in, I think it was one of the southern states. They're trying to actually bring back slavery on a mass scale. I think it was Alabama, where if you are convicted as a crime, you're going into slavery.
Either that or debt prison. I know they used to have that concept early in American history where if you couldn't pay your debt, you were enslaved to somebody. What do you think about what Steve said? And I think I'm trying to find it here.
Is it this one?
No, it was about if you should work harder.
Not citizens don't agree with it.
No, he said something about if you're not rich, you should work hard or just shut up to be rich. But can you actually do that in this time period, Chinadel, to get rich, even if you really work hard? It seems like you're on a hamster wheel where you're always chasing it, but you got everything stacked against you in order to achieve it, like inflation or you
got everything stacked against you to become rich because of the fact that everything keeps going up every time you turn around. Groceries are going up, tax dollars are going up, freaking everything is going up. And how do you expect to achieve the goal of being that rich person when you can't even afford your daily routine?
Archbishop from the Boneyard right there, man. You guys can catch them on Sundays. What about Mississippi trying to reinstate the Jim Crow laws?
I want to ask, why are they doing that? And what led them to do that?
And I'm a little ignorant to that subject, so
we have to look. One thing I do want to do with Chino is next week talk about the BlackRock and the One World, New Order, the New World Order.
Absolutely.
Because it's really coming to that right now. People don't understand. Was it BlackRock or somebody else at that gathering that said they needed the great reset?
Oh no, that was the World Economic Forum.
World Economic
Schwab.
Forum. Yeah, but they're all in.
We needed a great reset, and where we own nothing and we'll be happy, and the only people that will have control over things are the richest people of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rich said he has a question here.
Okay, let's bring it up.
Then why aren't we all in the same boat? Why is BlackRock only controlling half of us, apparently, not defending them at all, just asking a question?
Here, I got something. So in my local area where I live, for instance, all of these housing tracts, all of the land is being bought by BlackRock currently. And they are building all of these houses, and then they are renting them out for like $5,500 a month for rent. Okay, they're not even selling them. What they're doing is they're renting them out to these people. Okay, and this is what I mean because I'm a little bit of an exception. There's still going to be exceptions to people owning houses before BlackRock really started investing into real estate and into the rest of the world. They're the biggest investors of the world. You know what I mean? It's an investment company such as like the property kind of scale, and it's only getting worse and worse.
They're the biggest investors of big tech, in property, in healthcare, in farming, in food production, in the military industrial complex, in this the prison complex, and law enforcement. They're the biggest lobbyers of laws. They control literally everything.
Look how much money they actually run underneath their company. Look how much money they actually organize underneath their company. Look how much money is underneath them.
Well, you know what? Coming to
the riots that they donated to.
Coming to a close on this one, and we're going to be talking about the New World Order next week. I think we finally got a well-balanced panel We got a leftist view from Chino. We got a conservative view. Well, I have to say down the middle with me because I'm down the middle because I
You are.
And then we have some conservative thinking from Mike, and then middle of the road from China Doll. She's our woman on this one. So I think, Mike, we really got a balanced type of.
I think this is going to be incredibly awesome for the future of this entire show. I think everyone's going to get, obviously we're not all going to agree on things, guys. You guys got to remember this. We all have different viewpoints. We all come from different backgrounds.
We got a leftist way of thinking. We got a middle of the town, and we got a woman.
How entertaining would it be if we all four were the exact same, had the exact same views, and we just sat here and said, "Yup, yup."
No, that's what I'm getting at is that's what's missing in America now.
It is. We can't even talk.
We don't get any other point of views here, and like I said, the reason why I'm middle is because I agree with some of the stuff on the left and I agree with some of the stuff on the right. And if we came together and actually learned about each other, this country would be a hell of a lot better. Instead of saying, I've seen some comments, oh, we're going in the left wing talking points. Well, we're expressing viewpoints from everybody here. And I really like that stuff. So Mikey, if Chino wants to sign on that contract, he can. I really
well I was waiting for those. I was waiting for those exact words, and I'm very surprised you said it on air. So Chino, you just heard what just happened. So welcome to officially the BCAN and also being a co-host.
And I'm gonna have to just say it. He's some eye candy for the women. There
you go. There you go, buddy. There you go.
Man, I'm just sitting here like, what?
You're like, huh?
What's in Hollywood? I'm staring at the fucking Marine. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about.
So we'll be back next week with the BCAN podcast at 9:20 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to turn you back over to 24/7 rock and roll, baby. We have some Sammy Hagar out there. We got some freaking Iron Maiden and all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys and gals enjoyed it. You can hear the replay over on Spotify, Apple iTunes, and all your favorite podcast platforms. You can, I think Mikey has actually the BCAN up. But we'll talk to y'all later. You have a good one. We're out of here. I'm actually going to go see Adam Sandoval right now. I'm going to go over to the Harley dealer, see if he's still there. But rock and roll, baby.